Hello everyone. So this is the fourth video, but part number 3 of the same chapter. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together. So if you remember the second part, means video number 3, there the daughter ultimately gave a kind of emotional message to the father, a kind of motivational note. So let's see that whether the father is ultimately motivated or not. I checked and rechecked my calculations. We had lost our main compass and I was using a spare which had not been corrected for magnetic variations. Now definitely, because the first and things that are completely lost, so somehow obviously they are taking the plan B because they are going to different island, not to Australia, because the condition of the boat is not good, and the different kinds of equipments that they had, it is also completely lost. So somehow he managed different kinds of techniques in order to get the actual location. I made an allowance for this and another estimate of the influence of the westerly currents which flow through this part of the Indian Ocean. About 2 p.m. I went on deck and asked Larry to steer a course of 185 degrees. So again he calculated, and at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. means definitely the afternoon time, and he is again giving informations to the character Larry. If we were lucky, I told him with a conviction I didn't feel, he could expect to see the island at about 5 p.m. So now he is giving definitely the instructions to the character, but he himself is not convinced. But if this is going to happen, then we will get the island at 5 p.m. Then with a heavy heart I went below, climbed on my bunk and amazingly dozed off. When I woke it was 6 p.m. When I woke it was 6 p.m. and growing dark. I knew we must have missed the island, and with the sail we had left we could not hope to beat back into the westerly winds. And I came back, I had a sleep, and at 6 I woke up, and I am very much sure, I am pretty much confident that we have lost the island. It was a wrong location and it is not possible to go back. So definitely the end is very near. At that moment a tousled head appeared by my bunk. At that time a head which is having untidy hairs, okay, it appeared. Can I have a hug? Jonathan asked. So it was Jonathan, and John is asking, can I have a hug, Daddy? Sue was right behind him. Why I'm getting a hug now? I asked, and the character is very much confused that why, what happened? Because you are the best daddy in the world and the best captain, my son replied. Because you are the best daddy, so probably there is a kind of good news. Not today, John. I'm afraid. And the father is not understanding what happened, and he probably is thinking that we are about to die. That is why they are emotional and they are asking for the hug. Why, you must be, said Sue in matter of fact voice. You found the island. So definitely it is a good news that your idea, your whatever you predicted, that ultimately worked. What? I shouted. It's out there in front of us, they chorused, and they are saying together in a chorused form that yes, it is in front of us, as big as a battleship. I rushed on the deck and gazed with a relief at the stark outline of Isle Amsterdam. It was only a bleak piece of volcanic rock with little vegetation, the most beautiful island in the world. The most beautiful island in the world. Why? Because though it is insignificant, if you remember the phrase pinpricks, insignificant, small, then also this is the island which can save the entire family. That is why it is most beautiful. We anchored offshore for the night, and the next morning all 28 inhabitants of the island cheered as they helped us ashore. With land under my feet again, my thoughts were full of Larry and Herbie, cheerful and optimistic under the dearest and of Mary, who stayed at the wheel for all those crucial hours. So now he is, thinking that ultimately it worked. Ultimately, it is life. It is optimism. At the end, there is hope. And it was the wife, the crew member, who ultimately stayed there for the crucial hours. Most of all, I thought of a 7-year-old girl, means the daughter, who didn't want us to worry about a head injury. Though she was injured, but she didn't disturb the father because it was important for the father to save the entire family, which subsequently took 6 minor operations to remove a recurring blood clot between skin and skull. And after that, means that injury ultimately it was recovered. How? 6 minor operations, and of a 6-year-old boy who was not afraid to die. And my son ultimately said to me that we are not afraid to die, Daddy, if we are all together, we 4. So this is the end of the text. So at the end, they ultimately got the island. At the end, there is hope, there is life. And if we are having the confidence, the positivity, we can survive in any situation. If you remember this film, Life of Pi, there also the boy ultimately, survived. You have seen the film. So, if you are confident enough, if you are, having all the plans in your head, then you can definitely win the war. As here, the character ultimately won, right? So, we are not afraid to die if we can all be together. So, the emotion of the family, the planning, techniques, it ultimately worked. So, it is a teamwork. It is a teamwork. So, that little daughter, she also sacrificed that my health is not important. What is important is the life of everyone. So, this is what teamwork is actually, right? So, read the text again and again and go through the details, because this text is having different kinds of details. Try to remember the details, and the storyline is easy. These are all survival tactics, but information based questions, for information based question you have to read the text, the details, the dates, the locations, the different kinds of phrases, right? So, thank you and stay safe.